Welcome to the transatlantic Carr family reunion. My grandfather Daniel Carr immigrated to the U.S. at the age of 20 in 1928. The custom of the time in Ireland was to have an American wake. Knowing they may never see a family member again, the wake was as much a celebration of the beginning of a new life in another country as it was the ending of one's time in their Irish homeland. Daniel spent 41 years in the U.S. building a life and family before he finally returned to Ireland in 1969 to visit the family he had left behind so many years ago. He visited again in 1971, but his life ended too soon after he returned. With that passing, the connection to his and our family in Ireland faded into the past. I hope you enjoy this recap of Karen's and my journey to Ireland for a family reunion that had been 54 years in the making. The day of the reunion finally arrived. The town of Ballinasloe in County Galway was the scene of the gathering, just a few miles from Kilconnell, where Dan and his family lived.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for coming, and I know everybody traveled a great distance. Nobody traveled as far as Karen and I, obviously, but it was really important to me to get to know everyone, and I'm glad that everybody's making the effort to do so. So, first, I just want to read a little bit of a thing I wrote here. You all met me and you've met my wife Karen, and just a little recap on my grandfather, Dan Carr. He was born in 1908, and he was the sixth child of Michael and Nora Carr, and then he moved to America in 1928. My mother, Catherine Carr, is the second child of Daniel and Mary Carr, and she was born in 1937, and she's still living happily and healthily in Western Pennsylvania at the age of 88 years old. She sadly could not make it here today. Her mobility is not very good, and this would have been just too great of a journey for her. Daniel's family line yielded 7 grandchildren, of which I am the fourth. I'm actually tied for fourth in line because I have a twin sister, and he also has 4 great grandchildren and 1 great granddaughter. The idea for this gathering came after I read Mary Linsky's letters to my grandfather, and these letters spanned over a period of 13 years. And the letters are really sweet to read, and I copied them and sent them out, so I'm not sure who all has them. But mostly it was about Irish life, her Irish life, and the family's Irish life. And a lot of times they were her sometimes pleading, sometimes jokingly trying to get him to come back to Ireland to visit his brothers and sisters and nieces and nephews and everything. So he made his first trip back in 1969, and it was a brief trip, I believe, for about a month. And then he came back a couple years later in 1971, 71, and he stayed the entire summer. And I had privilege to read all the letters from Dan to my mother about how much he was enjoying everything, and he was always saying, "Oh, so-and-so loves this, please send me one of those," and things along those lines. So I know just from the relay of my mother from that period of time, and I was 12 years old at the time, or maybe 11 years old at the time, that he made this trip here. So I do remember him being gone for what seemed to be forever back then. Let me see what else I have to say here. Anyway, those letters really encouraged me to come back and visit everyone. So if everybody has a glass handy, whether it's full or not, let's raise it to Dan. Let's raise it to all of ourselves, and let's raise it to all the cars and extended cars that aren't here today as well. So, Slantra. Okay, so now I have one more thing to read. My mom wanted to send a letter since she couldn't make it here. So this is from Catherine Carr Manalides. Hello to all my newfound cousins there in Ireland. I hope this meeting with my son Jim and Karen will be as special to you as the idea of this get-together has been for them, both in planning and working out all the details. A very special thanks to Sarah Kinney as it was her dear mother Mary that started the ball rolling that brought my dear dad Dan Carr back home to Ireland. There he was reacquainted with his family and friends. He had a wonderful healing visit. When he died 6 months later, after returning home, his mind and heart was there with everyone in Ireland. I wish I could make the trip to meet all of you, but I am too old for that now. Jim and Karen will share photos and stories of all of you when they return. God bless you and your families. Affectionately, your cousin, Catherine Carr. All right, thank you.
The turnout was grand. While Dan's brothers and sisters had passed away long ago, a total of 19 cousins and great cousins were able to travel to the gathering. The entire Carr family from the U.S. showed up in a photographic display. Our newfound cousins in Ireland brought photos from Dan's past visits of their families, and a few items that Dan had bestowed on them over the years. We wasted no time getting to know each other. Karen and I were getting dizzy just trying to make the connections between those in the room, through the family tree, and all the way up to my grandfather Dan and his brothers and sisters. Did we all enjoy getting to know each other? You better believe it. The planned 3-hour event lasted 5.5 hours, but still, that time seemed to go by in a flash. As the day wore on, those that weren't camera shy took turns saying hello to my mother Catherine back in the U.S.
Hello, Catherine. My name is, my name is Rosa, and I'm the second daughter of Michael Carr, the eldest of the Carr family. And all my life, when I was growing up, we heard stories of Danny Carr. And Danny was, I gather, a character. And even a very old lady who lived maybe 4 miles, Liskewn, 4 miles from Kilconnell. Yeah. I was in college with her granddaughter, and I was asked up to visit. And when she heard my name, oh, she said, I knew your uncle. She said, he came down here for every maypole. A maypole was a dance out in the open held during the month of May. And people had a platform, and everyone danced, everybody was happy. So Danny was very popular. I gather he was very handsome. He was, Dada said, a character. And I have a photo of Danny and his brother Paddy, who was in the Garda depot at the time, training for the Garda Síochána, and my father, taken in Dublin. When Dada went up to Dublin with Danny, he was going to the American embassy to get a visa. And Dad used to tell the story that they were coming back in the evening to the Phoenix Park where the Garda depot was, and the two younger guys were walking in front and my father was coming behind, and Dublin ladies used to stand on the footpath selling nuts, etc. for the people visiting the zoo. The big zoo is in the Phoenix Park, and she was saying, nuts for the monkeys, mister, nuts for the monkeys, in her best Dublin accent. And my father said, no, it's okay. He said, I fed them earlier. So Dada was a very quick wit, spoke off the cuff, sometimes not to everyone's appreciation, but he was a character. But he was the eldest brother. There were twins born before him, but they died certainly within the age of 2, I'd say. And he was the eldest living son. And he was a very good, a very responsible eldest son. At the age of 14, he left the primary school, and he was very good at school, and his principal always thought that he should continue his education, but because there was a big family behind him, he went to work, and he came to the village of Ahaskra and started from scratch and worked in a very large business in the town, where there was a grocery, bar, hardware and a mill. And he worked his way up and eventually became manager, worked in Ballinasloe briefly, and then bought his own pub in the village of Ahaskra and married my mother. And Luke also worked in Ahaskra for Sweeney's for a while, and then went down to another branch of their business in Caltra. And I do know, he didn't tell me, he didn't tell you very much, but my mother would tell us things. And I do know that Dada helped his brothers when they were immigrating. He helped with their fare, and as I said, was a very responsible older son, older brother, and cycled home every Saturday night to Kilconnell, hail, rain or snow, to see his parents on his one day off, the Sunday. And he was go hunting with Luke. And then everybody left Ireland except Paddy. And I always got the impression that he loved his family very much. And but by the time that Danny came home and Luke, my father had gone downhill a lot, so they wouldn't have seen him at his best. And he married a lady from the village. She was an only child, so we have a very small family. I've only really got cousins on the Carr side, and we visited each other through the years, and we had happy times together. And something I was going to say there now. Well, as I said, he had this business. It was a bar and grocery, and then they retired in his older years. But I know I've forgotten something important, but I can't remember it. Anyway, old age, Catherine. I'm 86, getting nearer to the 87, and I thought I was the oldest cousin until we heard about you. So it's lovely to meet you and to know that I'm not the older one in the family. You're there instead. So wonderful to be here, wonderful to meet Jim and Karen, and we all thank them sincerely for getting in touch with us and making such a supreme effort, and for their hospitality this afternoon. And thank you, and my compliments on your son and all of your family we've seen in the photographs. Danny will be very proud of them. God bless you. Bye-bye. Now, here I am again, Catherine, because I just realised my family was, like yourself, 2 daughters. And Ina, my older sister, I forgot to mention her, and she played a very big part in my life. And sadly, she passed away some years ago. But her children, my niece Jeanette and Ina's sons, Michael, who sadly passed away last year, and Cahill, who is on a cruise in the Mediterranean at the moment, and Aidan and Hilary, who's also away. They've all been very good to me. They're like a second family. So I remember Ina, as you all, I'm sure, always, as I'm sure you remember your sister Mary. Cousin Mary, yes?
Yes.
God bless again, and thank you very much. Bye-bye. Sorry about that.
Hello, Catherine. It's Michael Linsky, the most senior citizen of the Linskys. And,
Do you have any interesting stories to tell us about Dan visiting? Do you remember?
I don't remember Dan visiting, because even though I'm the eldest of it, at a time we went to college, we were gone from home, and I went to work at a very young age because there was no income at home except the farm, and I wasn't into farming. So I went to college in Athenry for 2 years at 16. After that I took to work, and I'd come home on the weekends, and I never missed a weekend from coming home. And my mother, Lord have mercy on her, would have the basket of eggs ready and I would bring them over to the local shop, which was Mary Kate Cohn's, which was only 3 miles away. And she would take the eggs from her, and my mother would buy the groceries. They also kept turkeys on the farm. When the man would come on Christmas to buy the turkeys, they would go to pay their bills that they had accumulated during the year. And that was the only income that was in it. Yet, we were very happy and very well treated as a family. And my mother and father worked hard, cutting turf. And that was sold. And it was drawn in with a horse cart, if you know what that is. And it was £1 a load. But that was an income as well for my mother and father. But they never complained about money, and they made do with what they had. My mother was also religious. She would be on the bike and she'd cycle Kilconnell, which was 3.5 miles. Hail, rain or snow, nothing would stop her from going to Mass, and she'd cycle home again. Now, we find it difficult to go to Mass and it's only down the road. Well, if the car wasn't there, we wouldn't go. So they were a wonderful generation and a very happy generation, and made those that they reared happy as well. And they're all happy memories I'd have. Of course, the terrible loss was the death of our sister. She was the only sister I had, Mary Kinney. And she was a very precise person. And if you were told to do something, you did it in a nice way. But she always had an interest of people at heart. And she never complained. She worked extremely hard. And she cycled 15 kilometres to school and back again, and educated her 3 kids, as we'll call them now, to secondary and 3rd level, all on a wage. So I know she's smiling down on us and wondering what I'm mouthing about, but that's just my age. Thanks very much, and it's nice to talk to you.
Can you introduce your wife to my mum?
You better say it.
My wife,
Yeah.
Bridie,
You can say it.
is Bridie Scott.
Yeah.
She was years great with a farmer.
She opted for the chef.
And at the latter end, she was left high and dry,
That's better.
and she met me. But she was a wonderful person for on her bike to cycle to Kiltormer, to Benz, and to Kilconnell, and constantly on a bike. But that time there was no traffic on the roads in Galway, so you were quite safe. And there was no thugs either that could catch her. I wouldn't walk from Ballinasloe to my own house, and it's only very near. Times have changed. I met Bridie.
Right, get you.
And she was so happy to get me, she wouldn't let me go.
I'm telling you.
But after a good few years married, she'd let me off now to help she could get rid of me. No, we've been happy. We have one son, Ronan, and he stayed with us. And then he went to college, graduated, and did his high tech on something in computers. And he works for a drug company, GlaxoSmithKline, and he's European digital marketing. He lives in Milltown, thank you. And he has 3 kids, 5, 4, and 1.5. And he keeps great contact with us, and we're so lucky to have him near us now due to circumstances that we can't change. So Bridie looks very happy, and I know why she is happy. Don't be looking a bit dapper. No, thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
No.
I'd say very little. I think Mike has covered it all, and my brother. It's the main praise today should go for Jim here and his lovely wife for organising this, because it's not simple to come the distance they have to meet up with the thugs that we are.
Excuse me.
For yourself?
I'd love to stand up and say a few words, but the last 12 months hasn't been good for either my wife or myself. And she was unable to come, but hopefully she'll come in before he all depart. But again, all the praise goes to Jim and his good wife, that you have come that distance, and please God, we might meet again.
Oh, we will absolutely meet again. And
Thank
we were
you.
happy to make the journey to meet everyone.
And everybody should be happy that this day has come.
Hello, Catherine. My name is Marie Linsky, and I'm from Clonina. I'm the eldest of Brendan and Anne's 6 children. So we were reared in the same house as Danny's sister, who was Sis Linsky, and married to Tim Linsky. So there was 10 of us in the house when we were growing up. We would have heard all the stories from Granny about the Carrs down through the years. Your home house, your Danny's home house would have been in Kilconnell village, so we're about 3 miles from where Danny was born. So yeah, Sis would have been a big part of our childhood. She would have reared the 6 of us at home with Brendan and Anne, and it's still kind of the home house. We would still have Michael and Bridie and Tim and Ina. And all the Kinneys coming to visit, and with Rosa would be a regular visitor, and also Michelle. So yeah, I'm the eldest of 6, Marie, and then there's Marie, Claire, Brian, Owen, Irene, and Laura. Laura and Brian are here today, and Laura is the one who helped put up contact with Jim here originally. So I think that's all I have to say. I'm going to hand you over to my mother now, Anne, who is Brendan's wife.
Oh, I don't know what I'd have to say, but you're all very welcome anyway. We were delighted. When I saw the envelope coming in the door with the funny red stamp, I said that has to be some of Denny's, because I had heard so much all along down through the years. I knew at some stage somebody would contact somebody. So then Sarah had got it from Mary Linsky and Mary Kinney, and Rosa had heard about it, and we were all delighted. So that was it.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you
very
for coming
welcome.
today.
Oh, we're grand. Yeah, delighted to be able.
Hello, I am Michelle Campbell, nee Carr, and I'm Patrick Carr's only child. I have a daughter and 2 sons who all are quite close, and 7 grandchildren. I think that's about it. That's my background. I was reared in Strokestown, and I now live in Roscommon Town. Thank you.
Hi, Catherine, how are you? Speaking from Ballinasloe, which was 6 miles from Kilconnell, where your dad Danny was born and reared, and where he left for to go to America. I'm delighted to be here today, and we thank Jim and Karen for organising this. I am the youngest of your cousins, a mere 70, so we'll leave it to others to say what age they are. But I have memories going back. I was about 15 when Danny came, and I remember the whole family at the time, all the cars going down to Shannon to meet him off the aeroplane down in Shannon, and everybody, they couldn't know who you know, if you visualize then the airport, there was a balcony where you could look out and see the plane landing, And then everybody was watching out to see could they spot Danny getting off the plane, because they hadn't seen him in 42 years. So it was a great honour when he came down the ramp with a little hat on him. I can still visualise this hat, and he bounced out along, and then he brought great joy to the area, to our family when he was home. He was full of good humour, and he had marvellous stories to tell and well able to tell them. I remember on one occasion he was home, I don't know was it the first time or the second time, but he was with his brother Joe. Brenda, my brother, would remember this better than I would, but Joe had been a religious brother and was very religious. I know where you take it from, Sarah. But Danny would be sitting up having a little drop of dew late at night, and Joe would be above praying for his soul in the bedroom. And several mornings the two of them would walk to Mass up in Kilconnell. But we all enjoyed his visits and have good memories of him and have good photographs. Of course, Mary was the one, my sister, who brought them off to Killarney, and they did all the travelling around down there, and they had a wonderful time. And of course down to Michael's pub in Ahaskra and to visit down there. So the whole occasion was a great visit for the whole lot of us. All I can do is wish you well, wish you were here, and thanks again. Bye.
I think first of all just to thank Jim. So Catherine, I'm Sarah Kenny, who you've thanked in your letter. Sarah Connery now, and I'll get rid of my husband. Go away. But I think it's very brave of Jim to have reached out to us all and just try and make that first move. We had a chat about how it's amazing letters can find everybody in Ireland, and writing to addresses were that old. Thankfully, some of us were still there and able to reply to you. Danny is actually my godfather, but I don't remember him, obviously, because he was here in 1971 and I was born in September 71, so he's my godfather, but I don't remember him. But my mum talked a lot about him and how much she appreciated the visit he made, and she was always very regretful that connection hadn't continued. So it's great that you're here. We obviously have Brendan, Michael still here with us today, which is brilliant, and Tim from Dublin, and I think there's a great connection. Rosa's driven all the way from Wicklow and delighted to be here, and Michelle. So it's great to have that extended family, and we don't even see each other that much, so it's great to have that opportunity. So I think really appreciate you reaching out, and it's amazing in this day and age that we can all travel and be together and actually remember the history and where we've come from. Were you going to say something, Davy? Yeah. And not part of the Carr family.
We can't see our picture, we're still on it. Oh, you're still on.
That's okay. Damien being the poet in the Conway family.
Just to say to Catherine that two things, of course, in relation to Jim's words about Mary. I can fully understand how Mary Kenny was a very persuasive woman, so I can understand that the pressure was on there. And of course, Dan being Sarah's godfather, so just to fill up, he did a good job because she still reads at Mass, and she turned out to be a very holy person. So he did a good job there. So great to be a part of this.
Thanks, Damien.
Well, I don't know, what do you say? Hello. I'm Tomas Kinney, Mary's and Tommy's son. It's great to meet Jim and his wife. Delighted that be able to come in and meet them all. Gathered a lot of us together that haven't seen each other in a long time, I think. Not a lot more to say now.
So tell us about what you do. What's your life?
What do I do? God, nobody's interested in me. Look, I'm farming, doing sheep, trying hard, not getting there every day, but we have good days. What else? Work.
How many sheep do you have?
Oh, small little farm. We've only got about 200 in total. We breed pedigrees, and married to Rose. We have 2 children, Thomas and Michaela. Michaela's out in Australia, nursing and touring. Thomas is around home and working and farming, selling sheep today for me, hopefully. Oh, here's Anne, Ken, and Brian. Ed, it's your turn now. this is Brendan's wife. So we'll let them say hello.
Wait, I have a sheep question for
You
you.
have a sheep question, right?
So
That I might manage.
So how do you get the paint off the sheep when you make the sweaters?
Say that again?
How do you get the paint off the sheep when you knit the sweaters?
Oh, they don't knit them anymore. Almost, our wool has no value anymore. Very, very little. The paint we put on is an actual paint most of the time, and it's very difficult to get off, and they don't want the wool that has paint on it. Most of that gets thrown away, anything that has paint.
So they just paint them as like branding a cow? So
But if that's in Kerry,
yeah.
so on the hills, that's what we call communal ground, right? And you could have maybe 10 farmers who all have their sheep on the one hill, so each of them have their own mark, and that washes off over time. It's not permanent.
Okay.
But that's why they're all coloured up, so that when they all come in together, they can pick out what they originally sent out.
All right.
All right.
You're off.
If that's a help, I'm off the hook. Great.
Hello, Catherine. My name is Aidan Kelly. My granddad was Michael Carr, which would have been a brother of Danny. Lovely to see Jim and Karen. It's amazing the way they've come all this distance and organised everything. And it's lovely to meet them. And our Aunt Rose is here, which would have been Grandad Carr's daughter. Rose is the sister of my mother, who is now deceased, Ina Carr. I haven't a lot more to say, really. It's just that.
Tell us just a little bit about your life.
Yeah. Oh, well, myself personally, I'm a mechanic by trade. Went through a little bit of illness recently. I'm not working at the moment. This is my beautiful wife, Teresa. From a farming background, she's good old stock. I still didn't get any land yet, though, but we're working on that.
Never too late.
Never too late. Yeah, we are together nearly 30 years. We got married back in 2017. Well, 2017, and we're very happy. We don't have any children or anything by choice. We're quite happy on our own, doing our own thing. And God bless. That's all I have to say. And hello to everyone out there.
The next day, Rosa showed up early to give us a tour of Ahaskra, where her and her sisters grew up as young girls. We loved the story of her roller skating and could not believe how far she traveled on metal-wheeled skates. We toured the town square, where we heard the history of the village, which included her parents Michael and May Carr's grocery store and pub right in the center of the square. We saw the home that Rosa grew up in and visited the local cemeteries to see where her parents and her sister had been laid to rest. Next, Tim and Ina Linsky took over for a tour of Kilconnell, the town that Grandpap Carr grew up in. We saw the site of his family home, which is now occupied by a very modern home. We drove by the local pub, which a few of us had visited the night before. We then visited the cemeteries where we saw the grave of Michael and Nora Carr, my great-grandparents, and that of Dan's brother Luke. We also saw the grave site of Dan's sister Nora, who was best known as Sis, and the grave of her daughter Mary Linsky, who started the ball rolling as a young girl by writing letters to my grandfather for 13 years before his first return visit to Ireland. We toured the ruins of the Kilconnell Friary, which was founded in 1353, occupying a prior monastery that was built in the 6th century. The friary was closed in the late 17th century and fell into ruins over time. We finished the day off at Brandon and Anne's farm in Kalina. We had a wonderful sunny dinner prepared by their daughter Marie. We looked at photos from Dan's time there in 1971 and also got a tour of the farm and an education on sheep and cow farming in rural Ireland. One last group photo, and we said our goodbyes.
Okay, Karen and I are back in the States now, but we had a bit of a delay heading back to Pennsylvania to see my mom because we picked up COVID on the flight home from Ireland. But fully recovered, we're off to Greensburg, Pennsylvania right now.
Well, hello there in Ireland to all my newfound cousins. This is your cousin, Catherine Carr Manalitas, calling you from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, or speaking to you from Greensburg, Pennsylvania. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you and tell you how much I enjoyed seeing all of you on Jim's and Karen's video that I finally got to see thanks to COVID. It took a little while. The other night we saw it, and it was such a pleasure to see all of you and listen to your comments, and it was just really an inspiration, and it's so enjoyable to hear you and to see you and put a face to a lot of the names that I really knew. And so thank you so much for all your hospitality to Jim and Karen, and they just loved it. They had a wonderful time. And now I'm going to say hello to Rosa. I really enjoyed listening to you, Rosa. You had a lot of history there to bring us up to date on, and it was really very nice. So thank you, and this is a great opportunity to speak to you. The 21st century, thank God we can traverse all the miles and get to see one another and talk to one another. And first of all, I wanted to thank you for the hospitality you showed to Karen and Jim. They loved getting shown my dad's homeland. And for me to see it on their videos was just really wonderful. And I enjoyed listening to your talk and all the things you had to share and tell us about your family, your husband Mike, and all the bar and the store and everything, and your own family. Thank you so much. And I really enjoyed it. And also, I loved hearing the stories about my dad. And it was interesting to hear you all calling him Danny, because here he was just, we all called him Dan. And if the kids sometimes would say, my family, they would sort of call him Danny, but he never seemed to like that. Maybe it was too much of a reminder of the homeland. I don't know, but it was nice. He was a great father. He was a good man. And one thing for sure, he was my go-to man. Whenever I had a problem, he was the one I would go to. Sorry. He could always help me solve them. He was good. And him and my mother, when they were together, it was a good life. We were okay. And it was just okay. They were good. They were good parents and took good care of my sister Mary and me. So it was very nice. And I guess we didn't have enough, we didn't think enough to ask him a lot about his homeland. So sadly, never got to talk too much about it. But I knew about his brothers and his two sisters, and of course when he had his trips there, that was great, because he came home so telling us all about it, and he just had a marvelous time. And it just was, it just made the fact that a little more bearable when he only lived for 6 months when he got back. So it was good to just hear all your stories about him, about what a character he was. And he was a character. We had many good, every now and again would even get an Irish jig out of him at home. But one thing he liked, when I was in school, we had a couple of songs there was one about a cow, and I think it reminded him of Ireland, because when I sang it for him, I had to keep singing it because he enjoyed hearing it all the time. And then my one daughter, Janet, Jim's twin sister, she played the piano, and she would play Danny Boy for him, and he always would enjoy listening to that. We kept in close touch, and And like I had said, when he had his heart attack and was in the hospital before he died, his heart and his mind was certainly there in Ireland. He would say to my sister and I, "Stir the hearth there," and that's where he was before he died. So it was a good dad. He was a good dad, and we had a good life with him and my mother too, even though they had their difficulties, but it all worked out. So Rosa, it was wonderful to see you and put a face to you, and thank you for all the writing you did to Jim and Karen, and got things and showed them all around and showed them such great hospitality. And they both had a wonderful time. I know from the way they talked about it and what they told us about it. And I also wanted to thank you for the beautiful commemorative plate where my grandfather came from. That is lovely, and I will certainly cherish it. And I did want to tell you something I kind of didn't forget, but I wanted to show you. When Dad came back from Ireland after the second trip, he had these beautiful rosary beads, and now I have them. And he also had them when he died in his hands in his coffin. But one of his nephews gave them to him, and I wish I knew which one it was. I don't know if it was Tim Linsky, but I know it was one of them. So I have them, and I cherish them, and he did too. So that's another thing to thank you for. And so everything here is good, and after seeing all those wonderful pictures, my children we all got together to watch them, and they think I should try and get there to Ireland. At least stay put in one spot and get to meet all of you, which is a good thing to try and think about. And who knows, maybe in the not too distant future, if I don't fall apart, it will work out. And also, I can't believe now that I'm the matriarch of another set of my own relatives. I'm the matriarch of this family because my sister Mary passed away, so now it's me. And I have one other cousin on my mother's side who's still living. So here I am, the matriarch in two families. Can't believe I'm living this long, to tell you the truth. But you look wonderful. You certainly don't look like you're 87. And I'm glad in a way that you found somebody that was older than you. It kind of made me laugh. So I thank everybody for all their kindness, and I know we'll keep in touch by mail for sure. So I think I've pretty much covered all I wanted to say. I could go on forever, to tell you the truth, but I'm living a nice life here. So I have a wonderful family. Jim and Karen live the furthest away, and I have 3 daughters. Carol, she's 68, the oldest, and she's married to my wonderful son-in-law, Dennis Ledgerwood. And they have one son, Daniel Ledgerwood, and I have a granddaughter, which is Daniel's daughter. Her name is Mia Ledgerwood. And they did have another little one, which I'm sad to say, the baby, well, it just wasn't right, and the baby did not survive its birth. So it was born before time and did pass away. We were all very saddened by that. And then I have Janet Manalitas. She's at the moment still single, and but she's close by. And then I have Patty is the youngest. Janet is Jim's twin. They're both 65. And then Patty is the youngest. She's 62. And she's married to a very fine, my fine son-in-law, Mark Glinkerman, and he's in construction. And they have one son, Christopher Glinkerman. He lives in San Diego, California, and he's a chemist. Well, he's into chemistry, and he works at a lab. That's the extent of my family, and they're all wonderful. God has blessed me to no ends, and I know it, and I'm truly grateful to him. So God bless you and your family, and I know I will be writing to you, and we'll keep in touch that way. I loved listening to you, and you're a lovely lady. Thank you so much, and I'm glad to have so many new cousins to talk about. God bless you. I love you, and take care.
Okay, well, here we are back in California, and I can't believe after months and actually a year worth of planning, it's all over and we're back home. We had a wonderful time meeting everybody, and we truly appreciate the efforts everyone made to travel the distances that they did to come and see us. I know it was a big journey to make, and you all made it just to meet a couple of toads like us.
And that was a new word for us, toad. We had to look it up. But we've watched the video so many times, and then to be able to show it to Catherine and the family, and to watch their faces as they viewed everybody, you know, with tears in their eyes and my eyes. It was such a beautiful thing. So it was wonderful. Being over there with all of you, it meant so much to everyone. I want you to know that, to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks again, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and we look forward to seeing you all again at some point down the road.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.